So I used to tell him that I want to go, study abroad. So he used to tell me, I will not send you for undergrad. I may send you for MBA. So I said, why won't you send him for undergrad? So he said, because मुझे लगता है तुम बिगड़ जाओगे अगर जल्दी चलेंगे. कोई भी पेड़ जो कटते हैं उसके सामने 4 पेड़ उगाते हैं. So paper is actually, there is afforestation, not deforestation.
Right.
Although then there is other thought of people who say that चलो तुमने एक काटा और 4 हो गए बट एक तो काटा. That's what people say. My first job ever was actually I worked in my MBA college in the undergrad canteen.
अच्छा.
Ringing up tills and washing utensils in the kitchen.
Is it?
So my motivation was I will get to see hot girls. So this company was called, it was a shut company or a defunct company earlier. It was called Bansal Paper Mill.
अच्छा.
Which my grandfather told my father that this is what you have to do. And it उस ज़माने में ऐसा होता था कि शादी इससे करनी है बिजनेस से करना है तो करना है.
अच्छा.
Not everything which is white is pretty.
Yeah.
And you don't need white, right? There are people who coexist. There are different cultures. There are different people who are different skins, different races, different languages, and we all coexist.
Sure. Hi Naynesh, welcome to Ink Stories. We've been trying to connect with each other for a while, and I'm glad that you could make it. Thanks for coming all the way from Delhi.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you so much for having me, and really looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's been, I as usual, most of our guests, I've met them on LinkedIn, I've seen their profiles on LinkedIn, I've found them interesting, and I thought this would be an ideal guest to have to share their story. मैंने पढ़ा श्री कृष्ण पेपर मिल्स और देखा कि ही इज पुशिंग सेलिंग अ रिम ऑफ A4 शीट्स. यार कुछ तो कुछ मिसमैच है यार. यहाँ पे हम 2-3 टन का एक पेपर रोल बना रहे हैं. दिस गाय इज ट्राइंग टू सेल फ्यू केजी भी नहीं होता, मेरे ख्याल से फ्यू 100 ग्राम्स का एक पैकेट है. ये क्या कनेक्शन है? बोला इनसे कनेक्ट करना चाहिए. दैट्स हाउ वी आर हियर एंड आई एम सो ग्लैड दैट वी आर सिटिंग टुगेदर.
Absolutely, pleasure is mine.
Yeah, thanks. So Naynesh, let's start from your beginnings, about where were you born and early journey of Shri Krishna Paper Mills before we get into Packmate.
Sure. So complete Delhi wala.
अच्छा.
So ancestral roots are from Rajasthan.
Okay.
We are Marwadis.
Okay.
So from Rajasthan, and then my father was born in Calcutta.
अच्छा.
And grandfather, been in Rajasthan and then Calcutta. Then we all came to Delhi. So I'm born, brought up in Delhi.
अच्छा.
And then traveled. So my father used to travel a lot for work.
Okay.
So he used to take us with him. So I've been multiple times to the US. And Europe, UK, बहुत जगह घूमे. He used to take us everywhere, and it was very good experience. We got to see the world and different cultures at an early age.
Nice.
So I always wanted to study abroad. So school, everything I finished from Delhi. College, BCom I did from Delhi University. So I used to tell him that I want to go, study abroad. So he used to tell me, I will not send you for undergrad. I may send you for MBA. So I said, why won't you send him for undergrad? So he said, because मुझे लगता है तुम बिगड़ जाओगे अगर जल्दी चलेंगे. वो तो मुझे पता नहीं कि मैं बिगड़ा कि नहीं. But eventually ended up going to Bentley University in Boston.
Nice.
And I stayed there for about three years.
Okay.
I worked for I did my education for 2 years, and I worked for some time.
Okay.
And then I came back and worked with a Future Group in Bombay, and then I joined the business.
You worked for Future Group also.
Yeah.
But कभी लगा नहीं कि with your educational background की नौकरी करते हैं, let's have more easy life?
No, in fact, I think the roots that my father has given me is to just stay very grounded. So I'll share this story with you, and so this is a story of around 1999 or 2000. I was in college or just finishing up school or something, and he was one of the few people that time to get an imported car.
Okay.
Today BMW is like any other second or third car, right? उस ज़माने में बहुत अलग feeling थी. So he did really well in those years, so he got that car, and he told me one thing, that the only way you can drive this car, if you want to drive this car, is you will not get down in somebody's house in front of the house. You will not take the car and open the windows and put the music loud and show that you have
Correct,
this car.
you arrived.
And third, you will not do anything which can get you into trouble.
Correct.
So all this humility and all this,
he was very particular.
Very, very particular.
Nice. Nice to
So
know that.
my first job ever was actually I worked in my MBA college in the undergrad canteen,
Acha.
ringing up tills and washing utensils in the kitchen.
Is it?
So my motivation was I will get to see hot girls in the college, and I'll make a few bucks. So it was 2 nights in a week because MBA college in the US ends on Thursday. So you have a 3-day weekend.
Okay.
And Monday to Thursday you study, and then you have a 3-day weekend.
Okay.
So I used to work Thursday and Friday. So while my friends used to go party, I used to go work there.
Okay.
So the shift was 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning. And the kids used to come. I call them kids now, but that time they were like, somebody you wanted to be friends with, because it's good to have
Right.
friends in college. So I was in the MBA class, and I used to go in the undergrad school's canteen to do this, and I made good friends there. And of course, the experience of actually the first job and the first check that I got, and I gave that to my grandfather. Obviously, he couldn't encash it; it was in my name. But just the whole emotion to do that, I think it really brings you up as a person. Really teaches you a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. But you never had that. जो हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, शर्म की यार मैं तो इंडिया में BMW चला था, यहाँ पे आके मैं बर्तन घिस रहा हूँ, दैट काइंड ऑफ फीलिंग.
इनफैक्ट मुझे करना था ये.
अच्छा.
फॉर सम रीजन आई वांटेड टू, आई डोंट नो हाउ टू एक्सप्लेन, लाइक it was my wish from inside that I want to first earn something on my own, and the easiest access was the canteen. Right? And
it served two purposes.
So in fact my friends used to stay there, and I made very good friends who were international in Boston. So mainly I didn't have Indian friends. So there was this friend of mine, he used to actually work in Germany in BMW. He had a job there, and he's born in Vietnam, but he's settled in the US. So he used to tell me that, so he kind of got to know about the background and everything. When you become friends and you get to know the background. So he used to ask me that we are going to go drink beers. Why are you doing this? You can come and join us. You don't really have to do this. I said, no, you don't understand. I want to do this. I can drink beers with you any other day. Right? But this opportunity I'll never get back. When can you ever go and make friends like this, and then, just be seeing life from that angle. So it was really exciting.
But at any point you feel that you should work rather than join the family business?
Definitely.
Kabhi aisa feeling hua?
When I got my internships, it was because of in school there was this time that back in the days NIIT का बहुत बड़ा जोश आया था उस time.
Correct.
कि everybody wanted to do tech, software, and so I also joined the bandwagon. So I joined NIIT, and then in that program I had XML and Java and C++.
Okay.
मेरे resume पे ये लिखा हुआ था. So I applied to GE with that resume, and I got a job for coding, and I didn't know coding at all. And when I got the job, I went and told the recruiter that, listen, I don't know anything about C++ or Java. I had done this long back, and I've completely forgotten it. So he's like, don't worry, you are recruited, and you work in some other department. So I got to work in project.
Okay. Which company was it?
It was in Canton. It's called General Electric, GE.
Canton. Oh, nice.
So it was a very, very good experience. And he said that you work in the project management team. You learn from there, and then you don't have to do C++. So what helps you anywhere in life, it's absolutely.
Yeah, and you never know how it can.
You never know. Yeah,
true. So then, Future Group क्यों join किया? US से direct आके business क्यों नहीं join?
मेरा फ्यूचर ग्रुप ज्वाइन करने का मेन रीज़न ये था दैट आई रियली वांटेड टू लर्न ब्रांड्स, एंड शुरू से ही मन था. एज अ चाइल्ड वी ऑल सीन ब्रांड्स व्हेन वी ग्रो अप. टीवी पे एड्स देखते हैं, एंड एवरीबडी नोज अबाउट ब्रांड्स. सो आई थिंक दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी केम टू मी, it just cropped up from somewhere that you can move to Bombay and you can work for some time with Kishore ji. And you can work in the private brands division, learn about what really brands are made of, कैसे बनता है, and what is the idea behind the brand or the product and everything. So that experience in Future Group back in the years, I think honestly I can tell you it's helping me today in Packmate.
I'm sure.
And there the experience was, if I have to, so I was responsible to make the John Miller deodorants, right?
Okay.
My job was to find out what is the ingredient, how much of the ingredient will come in the jar कैसा होगा, उसका size कैसा होगा, price कैसा होगा, vendor कौन होगा. So all that matrix that you work from screening vendors and screening different items and then testing them.
Right.
And वो जो पूरा process आप follow करते हो and then you actually launch the product. So the benefit you get there is that they have their own stores. So आपके पास पूरा D2C connect है. You can actually go and talk to the customer on the shop floor and discuss with them whatever is your question.
Right.
We don't have that in reality, in real life. When you make a brand,
Yeah.
the only way you can check that is when you launch the product and then you get feedback.
Right. It's in front of the customer.
Yeah, but
making a choice whether he's going to pick it or not.
Yeah. So that is like a real life example. So you have the whole integration there,
right.
which I don't think you get in any other company in the world.
Correct.
So that really helped me a lot because interacting with actually a brand that is launched and then talking to the customer right then, it's quite a meaningful experience.
Lovely. So now a little about Shree Krishna Paper Mills. इनका स्टोरी क्या है आपके जो मदर कंपनी है?
So Shree Krishna Paper Mills is founded in 1974.
Okay.
My father was he was never from the manufacturing background per se. So he's a self-made entrepreneur, manufacturer on his own.
Nice.
So this company was called, it was a shut company or a defunct company earlier. It was called Bansal Paper Mill.
Achha.
Which my grandfather told my father that this is what you have to do. And उस ज़माने में ऐसा होता था कि शादी इससे करनी है बिजनेस से करना है तो करना है.
अच्छा.
So it was like that, and then he basically he started a shut machine. It was just half a machine or a piece of a machine which he started on his own, and then he started making Chromo C1S.
Okay.
And then from there he went to making C2S.
Okay.
And slowly he grew, and then there was one fine day where he got an opportunity to get a thermal paper technology to India from Korea, which was one of the most difficult things in that generation.
True,
ना तो
true.
email था, ना ही mobile phone थे, ना WhatsApp था.
Correct.
So in that generation to do that communication with a Korean company where English is not really the first language.
Right.
So he crossed that bridge and he got that technology.
Yeah.
And he was the first one to
get thermal papers in India.
Yeah.
Nice.
So then from there on, we did coating for until 2005.
Okay.
And in 2005, we did backward integration. So he put up this factory, which is now in Rajasthan, Delhi Jaipur highway.
Nice.
And the idea was to manufacture, paper and then do coating on it. So it was a full backward integration in his mind.
Nice.
So we couldn't really achieve that target for various challenges that we had, but we started off making newsprint. The factory was delayed because of various reasons. So I think 2000.
So this was a greenfield plant, or you bought out someone else?
No, it was a greenfield project.
Okay.
And 2007, actually the plant should have been up and running, but we got delayed for various challenges. So the plant really kicked off in 2010, I would say.
3 years, huh?
Yeah,
might be difficult for your
so
dad.
That really put us in a back seat.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you joined around that time or earlier?
I joined around that time only.
Okay, so you joined into
exactly. I joined into troubled waters.
Into troubled waters.
And I think that's where you really get a lot of your humility as a person, and you learn a lot. Right. If you've seen the worst, then you can do anything in life.
True.
But if you've seen the best, then when the worst comes, then you're stuck.
A little difficult.
Yeah.
Correct.
So 2010 onwards, we started making newsprint. And उसमें भी बहुत interesting कहानी है that my father and his team used to sell thermal paper, for example, in their own terms.
Yeah.
So one fine day they sent an email.
सेठ बन के बेचते थे.
हाँ, complete सेठ बन के. मतलब actually he uses this line कि line लगती थी हमारे ऑफिस के बाहर कि thermal paper किसको देना और कितना देना.
कितना देना और क्या रेट पे देना.
Seriously अफीम बेचना ऐसा सीन था उसने.
Agreed.
So we sent, my team sent an email to one of the publishers that the price of our newsprint is XYZ and our payment terms are advance. So the publisher replied and said that it seems that you are quite new to this industry. First of all, we will not give you advance. It will be credit 90 days and the price will be whatever we quoted 3 rupees lower. So my person replied that we are sorry, these are the terms. If you want to buy, you buy, otherwise no problem. That's when the issue started. Because if you don't agree to their terms, they don't buy.
They won't buy.
Whereas in the earlier case was...
you were controlling the market.
If you don't agree to our terms, then we don't sell.
We don't sell, yeah.
So that's where I got in the picture of marketing and taking over the sale. So it was a generic, I would say, takeover of a certain, leg of the company. So since then I'm looking after newsprint sales. So literally from 0 kgs of newsprint, we reached about 3,500-4,000 tons of newsprint a month.
Lovely.
joined hands with a lot of publishers across India and learned how they work, and then worked with them as per their terms, and we're still doing newsprint, although newsprint is a declining grade, as we all know. So yeah.
So now you were manufacturing this 3,000, 4,000 or more tons of paper every month. So how do you manage the Packmate business? And tell us that story, and why did you get into it? What was the driving factor?
So Packmate is a very, very interesting story. It started off with discussion with my wife.
Okay.
So she used to, from the factory, she used to call for these wrapping papers, regular craft wrapping papers, or anything which is broken in paper mill is anything machine runs which are falling on the ground or which has to be repulped because they cannot be sold. So she used to call for these sheets home, and she used to wrap gifts in that. And I used to see her. She used to cut these craft A4 sheets and then put it in the printer and then print that. So I used to keep telling her, why are you doing all this? There is, printer bhi kharab hoga, and you're making so much of effort you're putting into it, cutting and then putting in the printer. And so she's like, I'm enjoying this, and it's something very different. So she kept telling me that you should get into gift wrapping, you should get into something with gifting because it's a very big business. And I used to say that, we sell 3,500 tons of paper, jumbo rolls. Where I can sell these sheets? Who's going to buy a gift roll from me? Nobody can understand gift roll from a paper mill.
Correct.
So it was a very, very big disconnect. Then there was an exhibition in Paper X, and a friend of mine asked me that, so we were selling we were giving these giveaways, like small notepads.
Yeah.
So she asked me that your notepad has this brown color paper, can we use this in the printer? So I said, no, this is not really printer paper. So she put me a challenge that, can you make this printer friendly? Is it even possible? So that's where the idea of Packmate really, started, where I love challenges. Like today, if somebody tells me that, can you make this paper? Even if I can't, I'm going to put my time and effort to try and manufacture it, right? And that's how we've really developed different papers across in the last 3-4 years. So I went back to the factory and I told the team we have to make a brown copier.
Okay.
So the team was literally looking at me as if what is wrong with him? There's no term as a brown copier. Literally, there was nothing in India at least. Yeah. I have not seen it in most of the countries.
No, I haven't seen it. I haven't heard of it unless I saw it on
So
LinkedIn.
there was no brown copier. So we did multiple trials. Obviously the first few trials didn't work because it has to have certain parameters that can be run in the printer. It has to be scanned in the scanning machine.
Correct.
And you need to have it photocopied also.
Yes.
So we kept learning slowly, and the first few batches got wasted. We couldn't sell it. And the first batch was very dark. Even if you put it in the printer, the print will come out nice, but then when you try and photocopy it, it becomes black.
Oh.
Because the photocopy machine picks up the color of the paper and reflects that image. Right. So the paper is dark, so it becomes dark. And then scanning was an issue, So from there we've evolved, and I've seen from selling one jumbo roll of 8 tons to coming back to your point of selling one ream of 500 sheets. But the joy of that 500 sheets was far greater than that 8 tons. The reason is that you've created something.
You've created your own baby.
Something on your own. And
even today, Paper Mills is a legacy that your father created, and there's something that you're creating. I'm sure I can agree to that, and I can understand the love and affection you would be having. So for the benefit of our viewers, so how different is Packmate than the conventional copy of paper? What are the advantages? What would be the disadvantages? And anything more you would want the people to know?
So Packmate is, the concept of Packmate is built on the premise that not everything has to be white. We start from that premise, and it really goes back to the roots, and I'll share a very personal story here. So my skin is little wheatish, right? And I was always made fun of in school that, that fair in those days was like a big deal. In some parts of India, fair is still a big deal, right?
I agree.
So it's like if you're white, that means तुम सुंदर हो. अगर तुम white हो या तुम सब, अगर तुम गोरे हो तो तुम अच्छे हो.
Correct.
And all these, words you used to keep hearing. So I was also made fun of this in school, and I think the roots or the mind somewhere.
It's stuck,
right? So when I got this idea, my challenge was to break the barrier. Not everything which is white is pretty.
Yeah.
And you don't need white, right? There are people who coexist. There are different cultures. There are different people who are different skins, different races, different languages, and we all coexist. That's how the world is.
That's the beauty of the world.
That's the beauty of the world. So then I took up the challenge because of this, and I said I'm going to make sure that I sell brown copier. So brown copier जब बनाया तो बहुत challenges आए because nobody understands brown copier. Brown copier basically people should see and say हो ही नहीं सकता use. So I think it was basically from that angle that Packmate got created, and from there we are growing at a very fast pace, and people are understanding the product. So the benefits of Packmate, I would say, is first of all that it's completely chemical free.
Okay.
As I said, you don't need to be white in everything, so we don't put any bleaching chemicals. We don't use any chemicals whatsoever.
So what do you use basically? What is the raw material?
So it's complete recycled waste.
Recycled waste.
Yeah. So
all the paper that is getting wasted, you use that.
Yeah. So the first lot of Packmate was literally absolutely old corrugated cartons. Okay. And how you can get a corrugated paper. So a lot of people are making corrugation paper, right? And Packmate copy was very different than the corrugation paper, obviously, because if you pick up a corrugation paper and you try and put it in the printer, your printer's head will just get jammed.
Correct.
So of course there's a technology to it. True. And there is some science gone into paper making.
Sure.
A lot of trials have happened. So we made the first batch with full old corrugated papers, and we sold that material, and we learned from that. So first, there's no chemical. Second, as you said, it's fully recycled. It's not that we are the only people who are recycling paper. I'm not even saying that. But we have a unique blend where we collect some fiber which is based from agricultural, sources, and then there is some fiber which is based from waste sources. And waste sources are fibers which are not harming any trees directly. Although
so you're not cutting any new trees to make your paper.
Although paper is a very sustainable way of making now in India. कोई भी पेड़ जो कटते हैं उसके सामने 4 पेड़ उगाते हैं. So paper is actually, there is afforestation, not deforestation.
Right.
Although then there is other thought of people who say that चलो तुमने एक काटा और 4 उगाए but एक तो काटा. That's what people say. Then they say that तुमने 4 पेड़ लगाए उसमें पानी ज़्यादा use किया. So people have their own mindset.
There will be different versions.
Different versions will always be there. So the only thing we can say is we are not directly producing anything from tree, right? Secondly, we are not directly using any chemicals. We are saving at least, if not more, 40% of the water, because how water is saved in a paper mill? Paper mills predominantly use a lot of water, right? When water is there in different equipments, if you are bypassing a lot of equipments, then your requirement of water reduces by half. So this paper is completely back to the roots. जैसे handmade paper होता था पहले, people used to take waste and actually put a mesh on it, and the water used to drain out. You can actually feel it's a handmade paper.
Okay.
So it's the way the waste you get the finished product like that, and the paper is made. So apart from that, you are saving water, as I said. And then if you consider the most eco-friendly paper today for your stationery needs, I think Packmate is definitely certified and right up there.
Lovely. And I think you're the only company who's into these kind of environmental friendly papers.
So that's what people have told me, and we are the first company to have a BIS license. So we are supplying to the government also through the online tenders. Nice. And in fact, the first time we went with this paper to apply for a BIS license, we were completely rejected. They said that this is not even a A4 paper that we can actually give you a license for. So A4 copier in India has to be sold as per the ISI mark.
Correct.
So that was the journey again, that I think the whole
convincing
journey,
the entire system.
Yeah, the whole journey is about educating. I literally sometimes feel we are not in paper making in Packmate, we are in educating field, by just explaining people what we do.
Yeah, making the people aware that this also can exist in the market.
Yeah.
So is it also cheaper than the conventional paper?
I would call it at the same price.
At the same price.
I wouldn't say it's cheaper or it's more expensive. Normally what I say to my prospective clients is that for the same amount, if you can switch from XYZ source that you're buying and move to a sustainable
more
paper,
responsible source,
then I think.
And is it at the same GSM of 70-80 or use a higher GSM?
Yeah, we are making at the same GSM 75 and 80.
75 and 80. Lovely. So about from Packmate, let's move a little ahead in terms of your understanding. You've been in business for like almost 14 years now.
Yeah.
So how has been the journey and any learnings, any challenges, or everything was hunky dory for you?
As I said, I entered into troubled waters.
Yeah, you did,
and that's how I think the value of learning about innovation, or the terms we use in MBA, cost savings, or how to build nothing from zero to something. So we have made multiple products over the years, and we keep doing a lot of focus on research and development. We have manufactured grease-proof paper, which we're exporting to UK and
Lovely.
other countries.
So you got into a lot of different things.
Got into a lot of different things, and we've for example made a paper which is being used for the steel interleaving coils, so it's called a steel interleaving paper.
Nice.
So I think the key here is that challenges are going to be part of every business, and you need to have your vision very clear, that you need to be open to new ideas, you need to be absolutely willing to take risks, and that's the game. I think Packmate is completely built on that premise, that it's a new category.
Right.
We're trying to create something which is
like one of the D2C brands in the conventional paper market.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's a good thought for many young entrepreneurs or people from family business who don't want to be a part of the conventional business and want to do something of their own. It could be a good guidance factor कि हम भी कुछ अलग कर सकते हैं.
I hope so.
हमें इतना conventional can't be more conventional than a paper mill. उसके अंदर जाके आप एक D2C brand create कर रहे हो, and your kind of paper need not be only white, it can be brown as well.
Yes,
I think the concept resounds, and it's a good thought. And like you were telling me, you're saving a lot of water by not using the conventional source of raw material.
Absolutely.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And so any advice for the young entrepreneurs who are coming in that you feel कि उन लोगों ने ये चीज़ देखना चाहिए जो शायद मैंने देखा नहीं या मुझे बाद में पता चला? Some advice for them?
I think what I can share from my journey is that never give up, basically. And I think as humans, we if I tell you today everything is going to be great in the next 5 years, you will listen to it and then you will forget it. But if you say that 3 months from now you will be in a problem, you will start asking me, और बता कैसे क्या मतलब who's told you this? As humans we love to learn about pessimist things. We love to learn about things which are negative.
Correct.
Negative news attracts us. Positive news don't attract us.
सोशल मीडिया में वही तो दिखता है.
हाँ, सोशल मीडिया में भी वही जाता है, न्यूज़ में भी वही जाता है. So I think as entrepreneurs and as new age, any young entrepreneurs listening to this or trying to start something new, that pessimist people are going to be pessimists, right? So when I started this as Packmate also, I never one person told me that this is a great idea.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And it was just always that nobody's going to buy this and this cannot work. And then you have to first believe in your concept, you believe in your idea, and then keep believing that if people are saying something pessimistic, that means you're on the right track. Once they say this is a great idea, this will work, it is not going to work. That means you're doing something which everyone can do.
This brings me to a question which I should have asked earlier कि आपने पापा को कैसे कन्विंस किया कि ये मैं करूं, because 4000 टन किधर और 400 ग्राम किधर?
So that's a very good question, and I think I'm blessed like that. So the way my father has evolved or let me handle certain parts of the company is that he gives me a free hand. So when I told you the story about newsprint selling, right, in 2010-11. So it was completely my decision making. At what price, whom to sell, how to sell, no interference.
Okay.
Same way, then a year after he told me you're going to start looking after imports of recycled fiber.
Okay.
Right. So he said, this is the name of the fiber. This is the type of fiber. That's all I can tell you. Now learn on your own. Import. Make sure the factory is not shut because of waste paper.
Okay.
Now how you get, whom you get from, and how much you get, at what price you get, it's yours. I will not interfere, right? So I think it's the same with Packmate. So when I launched Packmate, he never asked me anything. He never took interest, honestly. Also, but he never interfered. That Packmate, you're selling 2-3 reams here and there, and you should focus on selling 4,000 or 3,000 kilos, or 3 jumbo rolls
Correct,
or 2
correct,
jumbo rolls
correct.
versus 1 ream.
Correct.
So he never really told me or asked me that you're spending less time there or more time here. I think that's for us to know what is.
So did you have to build a different team for Packmate, or you've been able to source the talent within your existing system?
So some 1 or 2 people are different. For example, Packmate is a D2C brand.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult, as you said, conventional paper business now to convert into a D2C brand. So when I used to tell my team that we have to sell or ship 4 reams or 4 sheets to this client, they just wouldn't do it. Because for them, they've never done it. Over the years. Unthought of. They are, so we have people in our company who are working since my father's time.
सैम्पलिंग कर देते हैं.
हाँ, इससे तो हम सैम्पलिंग कर देते हैं. तो वो करते ही नहीं थे. And then the first time I had meetings with them and I said that we have launched this product, we have to sell. They did not sell. I had to actually go and sell reams to my friends, to people who would trust me. And when I started selling and they saw that I've sold 100-200 reams, and that's the barrier. 2-4 ream कोई भी बेच सकता है, but when you sell 100-200,000 reams, that's when your team starts respecting you.
Taking you seriously.
So they took it seriously then. Okay. That now 1,000 reams are being sold, that means this product is here to stay and ये बिक सकता है.
Okay. So if I may ask, what kind of percentage has it reached today, or it's still like?
So I would just say that by thankful to God, we are growing. We've added a partner in South Africa. We've added a partner.
You're exporting it as well.
Yeah,
nice.
We've added a partner in Middle East.
Nice.
We've added a partner in Madagascar. We are speaking with a few people in Europe.
Lovely.
And we've added governments, as I said.
So how do you scout partners in international markets?
When you're doing something right, people scout you. Okay. I think that's what you've done with me. So all these people I've never met.
Yeah. So
the partners who we've managed for exports, I've never met.
So you being active on LinkedIn, has it helped?
I would say yes. And I think that's how you can really reach out to
connect to people. Yeah, you kind of put your thoughts out. Even if people are to criticize, to be you get a perspective. आप जो सोच रहे नहीं तो आप सोचते हो कि आप जो सोच रहे हो वो सही है.
Right.
When you're putting it out for optics of the larger audience, and then you realize कि यार मैंने ये कुछ ज़्यादा तो नहीं बोल दिया, कुछ कम तो नहीं बोल दिया.
Right.
So I think being willing to be able to take that criticism makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, I agree.
Wonderful. Anything that I should have asked you, which is a fundamental part of your being, your business, your personality, or your journey that I missed? I mean,
I don't know. I've shared everything with you, but in terms of my personality, I love doing fashion walks, so I'm a ramp model.
I thought as much with that very deep, strong, chiseled looks.
So that's also a very interesting story. I was approached by a person in the gym once who's a very, very. He was a director in in one of the schools of arts for acting in Delhi. And he asked me that, do you want to be an actor? I said, no, I don't want to be an actor. I want to walk on the ramp. So he said, I can't help you with that. And then one fine day, after 4 years, he calls me that I'm launching my brand and I've become a designer. And I remember you wanted to walk.
Okay.
So here's your chance.
Lovely.
So, I think...
So you do it professionally or just...
No, yeah, I just do it for friends and people who...
lovely. That's nice.
So it's just a lot of... so I think it's very important to live or fulfill your passion.
True.
Because we all know life is short.
True.
And
you never know.
And Packmate is really a passion now. And I joke with my wife that you've given me something now to run for. If I was just doing Shree Krishna and same conventional paper, वो तो कहीं ना कहीं तो बिकता ही ना माल.
वो तो इतने साल का लेगेसी है, वो तो बिक ही जाता अपने आप से. यहाँ पे तो आपने it's like a lady bringing out a baby from its womb and nurturing it into a full-sized child and an adult later. आप उस तरह से आपने ये business खड़ा किया है.
So it's exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure. Lovely. Thanks for this. I have last 2 questions for you. One is we ask all our guests, like we found you, any people that you have in your mind that you think could be good potential guests for us, have interesting stories that could, would people be interested to listen, basically from the paper, print, packaging and plastic industry.
So there's one person I know who's doing, I don't know if you've spoken with him, he's recycling cigarette butts all the cigarette that is
it?
wasted,
Oh,
and
I'm
he's
sure I'm not.
recycling it and creating stuffed toys from it.
Lovely.
So
Cigarette buds.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I found his journey very, very exciting and interesting. So
What's his name?
His name is Naman.
Naman from Delhi?
Yeah,
Okay. I would take his contact from you.
for sure.
और अगर कोई और होगा तो please do ping me.
Definitely, I will
Allowed
let
to.
you know, because the people are there doing fantastic.
Yeah, that's the whole
things.
idea of this
Yeah.
podcast, to bring different perspectives. लोगों को idea मिले, कुछ तो एक चिंगारी भी यहाँ से अगर पैदा हो तो why not? I mean, that's the whole idea of this podcast.
Absolutely.
And the last one is, you've done this podcast with us now for the last 30 minutes. How did you find it? Any advice for us? Anything that you feel that should be?
No, I think it's exciting. It's nice to share your journey with somebody, and in hindsight, learn your journey as well in return. So
And keep it for records for the next generation in general, as long as YouTube is alive and kicking.
Yeah.
Otherwise, stories record हो जाते हैं ना.
Yeah.
And you can probably, a couple of years later just sit back and अच्छा मैं ये सोचता था उस जमाने में.
So I understand this is your passion as well.
It's my passion,
And
absolutely.
Exactly.
I don't do it for money. I just do it out of the sheer want of meeting new people. Otherwise, Naynesh से मैं मिलने का कोई कारण ही नहीं है. आप अपना अलग बिजनेस चला रहे हो जिसका मेरा बिजनेस से कोई लेना नहीं. So I thought I need to remove some time. I do it only on Saturdays and Sundays. We earlier started with doing it as and when we could, but now we do it only on Saturdays and Sundays so that it doesn't disturb my business of specialty papers.
Right.
Synthetic papers is what we do.
Right.
So yeah, that's
So
my
I think
passion.
that's what I love about you, that you are trying to fulfill your passion, and when you get time. So the same thing is for all people, and that they
And
can.
we all should, as much as we can.
Absolutely.
Great, Naynesh. Thanks for your time. It's lovely chatting up with you.
Thank you so much. Had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.